Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking Vow Power against Karmic Power, a really profound Eastern philosophical text that digs into the deep mechanics of karma and reveals the ultimate spiritual solution for liberation. The concepts we're about to explore are totally going to reframe how we analyze our own actions and our true spiritual potential.
So let's kick things off with a question that honestly haunts anyone who has ever made a mistake. Can your past karma actually be erased? We so often think of karma as this inescapable, looming shadow, but the text we're examining today offers a highly structured, systemic answer to that exact dilemma.
To figure that out, our agenda covers 5 key areas: the weight of karma, the limits of Buddha power, the 3 great powers, how vow power overcomes karma, and finally, keeping your spiritual vows.
All right, let's dive right into Section 1, the weight of karma.
The source text hits us right out of the gate with this stark reality: nothing can be taken with you except karma. It's a heavy reminder, right? All that worldly wealth and status we chase, it completely fades. But the consequences of our actions, our karma, follow us perfectly into whatever comes next.
Now, the crucial thing here is that karmic power isn't just some abstract floating concept. It is a relentless, active force. And the text breaks down exactly how we generate it through our body, our speech, and our mind. Literally every single day, with every physical act, every word we utter, and every internal thought, we are planting seeds that are absolutely going to sprout.
To give you an idea of the sheer scale of this invisible baggage, the texts describe karmic power as being higher than Mount Sumeru, the mythical central mountain in Eastern cosmology, and deeper than the deepest ocean. It acts as this massive, almost impenetrable wall that blocks our spiritual progress and keeps us locked in a cycle of suffering.
Which brings us to Section 2, the limits of Buddha power.
It's super common to think that enlightened beings, or Buddhas, are these all-powerful figures who can just snap their fingers and erase our misdeeds. But the source material actually lays out some really profound cosmic constraints. Even the most enlightened entities have universal rules they have to operate within.
In fact, the text totally shatters the idea of passive salvation by clearly outlining 3 things a Buddha absolutely cannot do. First, they cannot erase your karmic debt. You created it, you own it. Second, they can't save someone who has absolutely 0 karmic affinity with them. And third, they can't boundlessly save every single being in defiance of cause and effect. So full enlightenment doesn't grant a magical bypass to the rules of the universe.
So, if divine intervention can't save us from our own actions, what on earth can? Let's hit Section 3, the 3 great powers.
The text introduces us to the 3 fundamental cosmic forces that govern our spiritual reality. We've got Buddha power, representing divine grace; karmic power, the inescapable weight of cause and effect; and vow power, which is our own internal spiritual dedication.
Now let's put these powers head to head. It's fascinating because, as we just established, karmic power is actually strictly greater than Buddha power. There is no getting around it. Divine intervention simply cannot violate the absolute universal law of cause and effect. Think about it. If you plant an apple seed, a Buddha cannot magically make it grow into an orange tree. Karma is the ultimate rule of the game.
But don't despair just yet. Let's move to Section 4, vow power overcomes karma.
This is where we find the one and only force capable of bypassing that massive cosmic deadlock. Vow power is defined here as the awakened original mind. It's your spiritual compass and the only internal force capable of overriding karmic power. When you see great bodhisattvas vowing to empty the hells or save all sentient beings before taking a rest themselves, that relentless dedication, that acts as a literal, tangible, cosmic force.
To explain exactly how this works, the text uses this absolutely brilliant analogy. A disciple goes up and asks the Buddha, if a spoonful of karmic salt falls into a glass of water, can the divine power of the Buddhas block that salt from falling?
And the Buddha's answer is a resounding no. Buddha power cannot stop the salt from falling. That salt represents your past bad deeds, your karmic debt. And because of those absolute universal laws we just talked about, that debt must inevitably fall into your life. You simply cannot dodge the salt. But here is the beautiful twist. While divine power can't stop the salt, your vow power has the ability to completely transform the vessel receiving it. If your spiritual capacity is just a tiny little glass, that karmic salt is going to make the water bitterly undrinkable. But vow power expands your spiritual capacity into a vast river. So when that exact same handful of salt falls into a massive river, it is completely diluted. The karma still arrived, sure, but your spiritual transformation entirely neutralized its bitter impact.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, Keeping Your Spiritual Vows.
Now, this protection isn't just a set-it-and-forget-it deal. It requires constant maintenance. Vow power is not a permanent, locked-in state. If your dedication starts to weaken because of doubt or everyday worldly distractions, that vast river of yours rapidly shrinks right back down to a tiny glass. And remember that karmic salt is continually falling. So the second you retreat from your spiritual promises, your past karma immediately catches up and strikes with full bitterness.
Master Ji Kong really hits the nail on the head in the text. He asks, if you want to clear your sins, what will you do? You must have a great vow, and you must dedicate your heart and soul. You have to be continually active, generating merit, serving others, and pushing forward with your spiritual duties. It's that continuous active effort that keeps the river flowing strong and keeps those karmic forces perfectly diluted.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder today. Will you actively nurture your vow power into a vast river through daily dedication, or are you going to let your vessel shrink and allow the bitter salt of your past to finally catch up to you? The mechanics of the universe are absolute, for sure, but the choice of how you navigate them, that remains entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.